Happy Sunday, lovely people. I hope you've had a wonderful week. It's amazing to be back, and it's amazing to be introducing you to today's special guest. He's a award-winning singer, songwriter, actor, photographer. He's just a super wonderful guy, and you're going to meet him very, very, very soon. So hold your horses. I think we should go and listen to this guy's amazing voice and see a little bit of him in action. This is a really cool song. This is called Frown. This is D.C.Anderson.
Though your heart's contented, cheer can be circumvented. When there is sun in the sky, you could die if you frown through your glee and gladness. Frown, find the joy and sadness. You'll pull the blue down from the sky and cry. Darken your face with anguish, lie on the floor and languish. Although a grin may be bubbling within, you should frown, frown with all your being. Frown, what's the use teeing? Just tell your tears to go to town while you just although a chuckle's just under your buckle, you should frown. What's the use denying? Frown, it's what's underlying. There's nothing beats a good meltdown. So you just frown.
Amazing. Now, you know how we roll, because obviously this isn't the first Jaden show you've ever watched. So we're now going to a Jaden show commercial break. Hey guys, I wanted to take this opportunity to let you know about the Jaden Show commercial break starting now. This is amazing news, because now every single week you have a couple of minutes to be able to advertise something you want to advertise. So if you have a business, if you have an event coming up, if you have a new album, art gallery, or anything you want to particularly advertise on a show, this is your chance to do it. March and April 2024, the advertisements are free, so please let me know. Get in touch to me on jadencornelius@aol.com. It will be wonderful to hear from you. If you are a charity or a charitable organization or a non-profit and you are advertising something with regards to that, then always your advertising is free. So let me know. You will need to send me between a 1 and 2 minute video around that time, if possible, something that you want to advertise, and I will fit it into this spot. Get on. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Okay, I've kept you waiting far too long. We're going to go and meet this week's incredibly special guest, the amazing D.C.Anderson. D.C.Anderson, award-winning singer, songwriter, actor, artist, photographer, wonderful person. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for asking, Jaden.
It's always a pleasure. So everything's going well at the moment, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's fall here. I'm in the New York area, and I'm sort of upstate. So the leaves are at their peak. The temperature is 73, and the breeze is coming, and there's no humidity. And I'm working on some new songs and just having a great life.
Bloody lovely. I love that. And fall, yeah, actually my favorite.
October's my favorite month.
Yeah, mine too, actually. Yeah, love it. I'm in another part of Mexico at the moment where we do have like deciduous trees here, because I was living in the kind of the jungles before, where nothing changed. We had 2 seasons, hot and bloody hot. That was it. So here is kind of, I'm getting to see there's a couple of like liquid amber trees going on at the moment that are changing. So not quite the States or Canada or even England for that matter, because England can get semi-beautiful, nothing like you guys. But yeah, I'm starting to see a few changes. We get lots of marigolds.
Yes, I love marigolds.
All ready for Day of the Dead. So there's lots of orange here at the moment. So it's a very pretty time of year. But anyway, I would like to take you back, Mr. A.
Okay.
To how you started. So kind of like you're in your family environment as a nipper. Was there music around you? What was going on at the time?
My dad played piano. He didn't get a chance to play it as much as he wanted to. But what would happen is my mom was always late. She was always still doing the makeup. And so that's when my dad could sit down, because we were all dressed. We were ready to go. The cars maybe even running, and he could sit down and play the piano. And he liked jazz music standards, Tony Bennett, Rosemary Clooney, Frank Sinatra.
Oh, wow, okay, cool.
And yeah, I love them as well. And then my mom was, when she would play records, she was more country western, but a lot of ballad stuff. So I got this combination. And then my sister, when she got to the 7th grade, she started playing musical theater. So
okay, she's older or younger?
She's older. I've got one older, one younger, but the older one is also a singer-songwriter, and she was a professor. She just retired, a professor of teaching Kristen Linklater technique to actors. But she also sings, so she did musical theater as well. And so the combination of musical theater, the storytelling of country western and folk, also I really got into folk in the 60s. And that's just what I did.
Oh, right, yeah.
It was just such a rare time. And I think I have a feeling there's singer-songwriters, the independent singer-songwriters and the singer-songwriters of today are writing some incredible stuff. And so they're sort of all together. I like to think of myself as sort of a storytelling, sort of folky kind of thing in some ways. However, Stephen Foster is this American writer of folk songs from the, what is it, like 1890s through, I don't know the dates, but there's some beautiful Stephen Foster songs. And there's a woman who was the pianist on the Ken Burns documentary of Civil War. She was the pianist and played a lot of Stephen Foster. So when I was on the Cape Cod she lives in, when I was near there doing a show, I sort of looked her up and I said, I would love to just come sing some Stephen Foster with you. Was that okay? I'll pay you, coach me. And she said, oh, come on, sing, just come on over. So I went over and I was singing, Beautiful Dreamer, these songs and just having a great time.
How old was you at this point?
This was about 10 years ago. So, okay. So I sort of jumped, sorry.
Wow, that was amazing for like a 7-year-old. I'm going to come over.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that boy started young.
Well, So I'll jump back in a second. But I wanted to say that. So here I am thinking I'm a folk singer, and she plays, for an hour. We play through some stuff, and then she goes, it's interesting hearing a musical theater voice singing folk music. Like, oh, no, like I don't want to be a musical theater voice. I love being a musical theater voice. However, are you hearing the vacuum by any chance? There's a vacuum. Oh, good. So I love doing the musical theater, but I also like the folk stuff. But so I guess my voice is more suited to musical theater. So then anyway, I went to college for music and for theater, and then I lived in Seattle and did music and theater. Lived in Chicago and did music and theater. Los Angeles, music and a little bit of film kind of stuff, and then back to New York. So I was like, so I've been in New York a total of maybe, I don't know, 20 years, but then going to other places. Then I was also on the road with Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Phantom of the Opera I did 4.5 years in Los Angeles, 2 years in New York, and 11 on the road. It was about 18 years that I did The Phantom of the Opera, which is why I have this opportunity to have this life. I always, when I give my thanks and live when I'm in gratefulness, I never forget to mention Cameron McIntosh and Andrew Lloyd Webber the people who wrote Les Mis, Alain Boublil and Schoenberg, I think his last name is. I feel bad. I forgot because I did Martin Guerre on the road. What is his name? Michelle. Anyway, so I did.
I'm worse than you.
I was just so I never fail to forget to never fail to thank them. The musical theater has gifted me with so much. And then I've done regional theater and plays, and now I started making recordings back in Los Angeles in 1989. It was a friend of mine in the chorus. We were both in the ensemble of Phantom of the Opera at the time, and I eventually went into Andre and did 11 years as Andre. But when we were talking, and he came to a show of mine that I did at this place called the Gardenia Room in Los Angeles. And he said the next day, I really enjoyed your show. What recordings are you doing? What do you have on record? And I'm like, nothing. He said, why not? I said, well, Columbia Records hasn't said you may record now. And he said, find a recording studio, make an appointment, and start recording. And I was like, okay. So the next day I did, and I've been an addict ever since. A complete addict. So I have Chris Pruitt to thank for that. He, rest his soul. He was such an inspiration. He said, just go. And so I did. And that's what I tell young people now. Just go. Find a recording studio and an engineer that you like and just stick with it. So I think this one is my 16th that I've made. Some of them were like cassettes and so they weren't all CDs. But
I remember the days of reel to reel where they would have to cut it and stick it together and stuff like that. That was
nice. It was like 15 minutes was on this huge tape that was. I remember that. Then it went to 2-track, and then it went to DAT. Was DAT in there?
Yeah,
DAT, and DAT you couldn't really mix much. Really, could you? You couldn't. You could do different tracks.
Yeah, but it was
mixing was hard.
It didn't seem to last that long, quite frankly. The whole DAT.
Right.
I think I probably still in my mum's attic got a few of my early demos on that still, but no one's got that power anymore. So I don't think I'll ever be able to hear them. So yeah, crazy. So how did it? Okay, so the transition from singing with your dad at the piano to getting into music, was your music at school? Were you in bands? How was your kind of like your teenage years? How was the evolution of D.C.Anderson from sitting at that piano stool with your dad singing?
Well, actually, my dad would play, and I would just sort of sing to myself because I didn't know if I had any sort of. So we only just prior to his passing, I said to myself, we've got to get in the studio, and we went to a studio and just did some recording, and I lost the cassette because the cassette came out of anyway. But yeah, but we had that time together, which was really wonderful. And so then I in junior high got in choirs, and then started doing. I did my first play in ninth grade, and then in high school I was in choir and band and orchestra. I played trombone, and I love it. I still love the trombone. Don't play it very well, but I picked it up during the pandemic. A friend of mine who was the first trombone player in our orchestra and band and everything in high school, we got together. He taught me every week trombone lessons, and I just had such a good time. Anyway, so I digress. So yeah, choirs, band. I did my first play was a play called Gideon by Patty Chayefsky at a community theater. And then the next thing they did was Waiting for Godot, and I got in that as well. But you can imagine a community theater that's doing Waiting for Godot, like it's Waiting for Godot, or is it Godot? I'm not sure. And Gideon didn't last. so I was sort of out of opportunity until high school, and then I got to do shows in college, and I went to grad school in North Dakota State University. I got this scholarship, and I went there. But I found out when I got there, I learned you got to read the catalog. Because there was an audition, they saw me audition, and then said, come to our school, we'll pay you. And I had a wonderful time. However, it wasn't an acting major. There was so.
What did you do?
Well, so I decided. They said, "Are you a directing or a design major?" I said, I guess I'm a directing major." So I only stayed a year. Plus, I had been studying. I spent a year in between college and grad school studying with the School of Cleveland Ballet because I was really in the dance department. I was sort of. I was not
everything.
Well, I tried. I mean, I studied dance for years, and then one day went to audition for a company. And when you audition for a dance company, they give you a company. They do a class first, and then they start doing across the floor and then combinations. And so there was a kid. I was 24 at the time. There was a kid who was 15 years old who it was his first day. They said, "Come, we'll just see what your potential is." And then they said to me, "Would you please show them the positions? Show them, when we say something. So just tell them, take them aside." So I did that, and then they had the two of us go across the floor, and it was just this thing where we were like, boom, 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 and here's me, here's him. It was boom, 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 thunk, boom, 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 thunk, and so literally. He'd jump in the air, and I was like, "Are you coming? It's time, And I realized that my pelvis is actually an anvil. And so I realized that this was not my future, or future in terms of having insert career. But I still kept taking dance classes. But so dance has been helpful, definitely helpful.
Wow.
So did that, and then when I got to Seattle, I decided I wanted to start singing. So
Seattle, what age are you now in Seattle?
That now this is like 24, late 25, late 24, 25, and I decided that I was doing a production of Candide, and I fell in love and decided that I wanted to do. We talked about doing a cabaret show together, so we did cabaret. We did Berlin, Cole Porter, George Gershwin, Harold Arlen. We just these wonderful classic songs, and he was an amazing singer. He was such a natural, and I was I had gone to the conservatory, and so here we were sitting next to each other at the piano bench, and he would be singing, "Lover, when I'm near you, when I hear you sing my name." I go, well, actually, Paul, it kind of goes like this: "Lover, 2, 3, 4, 1. When I'm near you, 2, 4. off. Da, da, da. He's like, no, it's lover. And I'm like, no. So we were, but so I learned so much from him because I was just so much into anyway, so he
That's
really.
a lot of the training, actually. I had done this show in a theatre in the south of England, and it was a night of the musicals and Jaden. I mean, it wasn't called that, but that's what it felt like, because it was like the girl that was playing Elphaba in Wicked, the guy that had been Phantom for years in the West End, and then there was Jaden, because I was from that area. I was living in that area at the time, so they drew a little bit out. But it was nice, and it was quite interesting because the guy who played Phantom, amazing artist, and he's been in everything. I mean, he really has been in everything in the West End. He said, "Oh my God, I wish I could sing like you." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You're God, mate." I said, "Your voice is just, it's seamless." He said, "Yeah, but it's trained." I said, and he said, "I can't, I guess, no more talk of darkness. I can do this, but I couldn't go, no more talk of darkness. I can't put any colours into it. I just sing like this, and it all sounds the same." And it was just like, and I was like, "Rah, man, that's like the boy of Phantom giving me a compliment." And he said, because he was so structured with all the years of being in musical theatre, that he lost his flexibility and not his originality, because he still sounded very different to some of the other singers, but it was a very kind of Lane's theatre art darling vocal.
Maybe, hopefully he took though from you. He sort of let it work on him and made his way to more. I don't know what the word is. It's a freedom of sorts, but it's also just an allowing. I went to see this wonderful cabaret singer.
Versatility, isn't it? You can just do a bit of it.
It was this singer Andrea Markovici. I went to see her, and she was singing "Some Enchanted Evening," and she went, "Some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger, you may hear her call you across a crowded room, and somehow you know, even then, that somehow you'll see." And I was like, "Oh my God!" I was, and I realized you have to. That's when I really learned from her that you're telling a story, because I've always heard it. "You'll know even then that somehow you'll see her," and I was like, I mean, just that moment, you'll know even then that somehow you'll see her again and again. Absolutely. And so that sort of went, bing, and you know how you pick up things from people, that you just. It's these moments just go anyway. So
listening to some of those artists was obviously I still sing a lot of musical stuff and Les Mis and Bring Him Home and stuff like that, and it was quite, when I was just singing it because I was learning it and because I loved the song, it was very similar to like God on high, my prayer. It was all very, but then I found myself almost talking. Not talking parts of it, but I don't know how to explain. Like, he is your. No, I can't remember the lyrics now because I've got other songs I've got Some Enchanted Evening in my head. But let him be or let him rest. I can't remember what it is, and I almost found myself having to pleading, saying let him rest, as opposed to going let him rest. Exactly what you were saying, really getting involved in the story of the song rather than just singing the song.
It's exciting when that happens.
Yeah, it's moving as well. I'm not my biggest fan, so I don't very, very rarely listen to me sing unless I have to when I'm singing. But I kind of got
you gotta listen to yourself. Listen to yourself.
Oh, but I got to one point in this song, and I found myself welling up. I was like, oh my God, I've never felt this sad about this song before. So yeah, I must have touched something on that particular performance that I wasn't aware. The storytelling.
Well, it's always I find I love it when you come off stage or you finish a song and you go, I was singing. When it just occurs to you that that used to happen in Phantom a lot of times during the manager scenes. Will they all walk up? This is damnable. We were just so into the thing, and then we finish it, and I go, we just sang for 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a good feeling because you realize you were in the story. Because
Absolutely.
it's all about story, right? I mean,
However, I have done that. I have done that halfway and thought, oh my God, I don't know where I am in the set, in the song. I got so lost. I'm like, oh my God, have I just done the first verse, the second verse? I don't know what I've done.
you got into it.
I've done that. Yeah, but that's the best thing is really being involved in your art.
Mm-hmm.
It's magical, absolutely magical. So, do you have a preference? I mean, like, did you start going down the folk route as an artist or just as a listener?
I think as a listener, and I still like dabble with the guitar and I dabble with the piano. I don't have a lot of skills in either of them, but I love the sound of an acoustic piano. I love the sound of an acoustic guitar. So I record mostly with those two instruments. So I think if I'd have been smarter when I was younger, and my mom one time she met this woman who was a palm reader or something, and or a tarot card reader or something. And the woman said, "I'll give your family a reading or whatever." So she said to me, I was 12. She said, "Learn to play the guitar," and I was like, "Oh wow!" And so I practiced for a while, but I was one of those people that was like, "My fingers hurt," so I stopped. But I wish I'd have listened to her because so maybe I would have gone more the folk route. But I since I always have to find the musician sometimes I go whatever route this musician that I've met that would like to work together if we're more musical theater awards. So I don't know what I'm talking about right now. I just gotta do it all. I guess.
You just do a bit of everything. And you do it well. That's the most important thing. Obviously, if you're brought up on like jazz and that kind of stuff, and then your mum being into country, do you still listen to the same things now when you're sitting back and you're having your chill time and you're just putting some music on? Do you go back to that period and listen to like jazz and country, or do you go into your musical and West End kind of, or is it West End? Broadway?
West End, Broadway, yeah.
That kind of vibe. Where do you go to when you're having your musical downtime?
I usually go to singer-songwriters. Cheryl Wheeler, Mary Chapin Carpenter, Joan Baez, Peter. Why is Peter's name? Peter Bradley Adams. I usually go that direction. Okay. And there's this wonderful group called the Heartstrings Project that I listen to all the time. Luke Wygodny and Marina Pires, they write these beautiful music. So that kind of thing. I think I usually go the folk. The new musical, The Outsiders, I listen to that a lot. Have you heard it?
I've heard of it, but I've not heard anything from it. So that's...
I really love that score. And I listen to Jason Robert Brown music, so that's a musical theater. Stephen Sondheim, of course. Andrew Lloyd Webber has given me my life. I listen to much of his stuff and his melodies. And I'm anxious to see this new production of Sunset Boulevard to see where this one went. I hear it's really fascinating. Absolutely. So I go. I think mostly singer-songwriters is where I land. Teresa Taduri, she's wonderful. Sorry.
Nice. No, perfect. Tell me, we mentioned as I introduced you, award-winning. We need to know a little bit more about that, young man.
I got there's in Manhattan. There's something called the Bistro Awards, and it's usually singers, people that there's jazz artists. Excuse me. I had cheese for lunch. Tells you anything. So I what was the question again? Sorry.
The question was award winning. You were talking about the Bistro.
The Bistro Awards. Yes. Sorry. The Bistro Awards. I guess maybe that's my mother saying, "Be humble, be humble, be humble." Forget that question. My mom used to say, "You don't want to be an actor because and singer because all they do is talk about themselves." So whenever I get in a position like this, I tend to be like, but I'm getting better at it. But anyway, the Vista Awards, they give a singer-songwriter award, and so I got that one, and then I got a couple songwriting things. There's a lot of companies that do songwriting awards on the internet. You know, the Mountain Valley Eagle Flying River Flowing Awards, that kind of thing. So I got a couple of those, and for different songs, and so and I've been nominated for some awards as a cabaret singer. Never got any yet, but
you need to be sorting that out. What about acting? Any awards for acting?
No.
Hey, you need to step it up. Come on, what are you doing?
I do. When I just went to college, Joel Gray was accepting his Oscar for cabaret, and I remember thinking, "Oh, Joel, how old are you? 40? Took you to 40 to get your first Oscar? Oh, jeez, Joel, I'm sorry." And I used to think, this is how my head. I wrote this song once called this song once about this idea that when I was 17, I was like, okay, am I gonna, Spielberg's gonna call with a film role, Sondheim's gonna call with a show, Aaron Spelling's gonna say we're gonna sitcom around you. What would you like that to be? And I have to be going, I don't know, Spielberg, let me think about it. Sondheim's on the phone, Oh my goodness, what you find out. Just going along.
Don't you just? I know. I'm 51 years old and still waiting to be an overnight success. I've been singing for 32 years.
But I finally figured it out. It's just, we're storytellers. We do it wherever we can. A stage is a stage. The stuff's on Spotify and Apple Music and all the different places, and that's where I get to hear a lot of people, and hopefully someone will take a listen to me. And because of the grace of the fan of the opera, I don't have to make money with any of this, so I'm able to do it just for the love of it. So that's a real gift.
Also, actor, like I said, actor, singer, songwriter, photographer as well. Have you won any awards for your photography?
I've had some shows. I've had some, like last year I had 3 shows which are nice, and mostly I take photos with my cell phone. I'm one of those people.
All these people with their thousands of people, like thousands of dollars of equipment, and
I know when I think of all the f-stop and all that kind of stuff. I love there was a commercial for one of the big camera companies, and it was a guy showing his work, and all these photographers in the audience. They were raising, what was this all these technical things when you did that? He goes, I don't know. I just sort of picked up myself. No, picked up my Canon, I think it was. I just picked up my Canon and shot. And someone said, but what? No, you had to have been doing this. Oh, no, I just picked up my Canon and shot. So I'm kind of that with my phone. Pick up my phone and shoot. The cell phones can do really wonderful things nowadays. So that's what I mostly do. So I was putting in a show one day when the curator of the museum came over, or the gallery. It was a gallery museum. Well, I would. The gallery came over and said, and started asking me some of these technical questions, and I was like, I shoot with my iPhone, and he said, something like I would have expected better from you, or something like that. And I was like, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
A good eye is a good eye, mate. Whatever it's looking through.
And that is the thing. It's just knowing when it's, because you know.
I guess it's even now, like you could spend, I mean, thousands and tens of thousands of pounds, dollars, whatever, pesos on a music video, and yet there's some people that have actually done it on an iPhone or whatever, and actually it's a really bloody lovely little video they've done as well. So
yeah.
I think the days of having to having to impress because the money you're spending have gone, especially since the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, now it's just about, capturing the honesty behind it. And I think sometimes the cell phone actually capture a little bit more. It's more like, like the old, back in the days when you had like the cine film movie cameras that you took to the park with your grandparents and stuff like that. Like a lot of them are being used in, obviously movies, but as well as videos. And I just think, oh my God, sometimes that authenticity is way more attractive than a, $40,000 video with all these bikini clad women around a pool and margaritas and Bad Bunny on a mic. And like, no, I'd rather see something more authentic, quite frankly. Absolutely.
Your videos are beautiful, by the way.
Well, they're kind of, I don't know which ones you've seen. It was my pop video back in the 90s was very expensive because it was back in the 90s, and we were signed up, my group was signed to a label, so that was very expensive. But actually, it's probably like the most simple one I've ever done. I wrote, and I'm a classical pop singer, so I call it popra. Really, it's a bit like you. Actually, I was a pop star back in the day, and I had to go to a singing lesson with the record company to get more feeling. And she said, "Oh my God, why are you not doing musicals and theatre?" She goes, "Your voice is operatic and classical. It's not pop." So I carried on doing pop because that's the music that I was into then. But, it was quite interesting that as I get older and lazier, where I really, really couldn't be bothered to learn any more dance routines. So, singing "Who Can Say For Certain," where there's nothing. It's just a violin, piano, and, guitar and me. I don't have to dance. I can just stand there and own the mic and sing. A lot less energy involved. Actually, probably more energy vocally, to be fair. But so it was really, really lovely. So the videos, when I had a bit of a hiatus from singing, doing like original music, a guy in Mexico said, "Oh, we were judging a singers competition together." Mm-hmm. And he said, "Let's do something together." And he's like this, handsome, tall, black guy, into like reggaeton and dembo and, kind of all these Latin beats. He's called Black Chicano. He's Mexican and black. And he said, "We should write something." I'm like, "I don't know what I could possibly write that would so this type of music." So I said, "Let's give it a go." So we ended up writing this kind of reggaeton, dembo, pop tune. He wrote this rap in Spanish, and I, wrote the kind of little pop melody in English, and we recorded it, and we shot a video, and it was so much fun and so amazing until I saw the footage back. In that moment, I was in the 90s being a pop star again, and there hadn't been 20 years since the last video. I was back shooting in front of the camera, doing my thing, and then I looked at the video and I was like, "Oh my God, why is my father in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean?" I just had...
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I'm not that skinny. When I was young, I had no waist and loads of hair. Now I've got no hair and loads of waist, and I'm just... When did this all backfire? But when I was shooting that video, I was back. I was in the 90s. I was a mini pop star doing my thing. Loved every second of it. And then I released a single last year, which got to #1 in the LGBTQIA+PQRS charts.
Uh-huh.
I shot a video, and that was me. My friend helped me with some camera shots, and I had done a little bit of recording the video as well. And that was me making the video. That was my very first attempt at video making. That's the one that's on the title page on my YouTube. And that was fun. It was very basic. It was just all my mates. I was kind of Googling like Harry Styles and, how to make like a young, hip, trendy. And they were like, they were all these really handsome and beautiful half-naked women and men all in bed together. And it was all very asexual and just all weird. And, they were all teenagers. And then it was me and my friends, and I was the youngest by about 20 years, dancing in my back garden. That's kind of how it had to roll in the end.
As we get older, I remember I didn't do an album from like 2010 to 2020 because I just didn't have the money at that time. The money that I was making, I was just putting into life. And then when I went back in 2020, and what I like to do when I go in, so I like to just record, like pretend it's a concert and do like 4 songs and don't tear anything apart yet, and then go in and listen. So did that, recorded like 4 songs, went in and started listening, and I was like, oh my God. because I was used to listening to my stuff from 10 years ago and before. And I thought my voice has changed. And I got to press for about 20 minutes and then I said, you know what? This is the voice I have now. And sometimes, and it still tells stories, and same with this face. This is the face I've got now. And so when I do like promo pictures, instead of saying, that's me, I go, look at that old man. He looks real friendly. He looks like a nice guy. I'd like to get to know him. Or if it's something for like more serious stuff, I'd like, ooh, he's a badass old man. I mean, I've really just embraced this whole thing, and it feels so good to get up in the morning, look in the mirror, and not go, oh, there's another wrinkle, but just say, oh, he's getting up there.
Sweet, man. Yeah, no, I hadn't reckoned, because I hadn't done it for so long. It was, from 20s to late 40s was a big change of that person, because I don't know, we live for our music.
Mm-hmm.
When I left England and moved to a place where it wasn't my culture, it wasn't my language, it wasn't my climate, it wasn't my anything. I'd never been here before. It was whole new, and I was living. The only things that I had that were my constants were my traditions and my music. So and music is a complete time machine. I mean, it's eternal. And when I was a big ABBA fan in my youth, so you see, I'm on YouTube watching Olivia Newton-John and ABBA, and they're all very beautiful and young, and nothing's changed, and I haven't changed, and the music hasn't changed. And then all of a sudden I realised that actually they're now in their 70s and I'm actually in my 50s, and I don't know, it's just like this whole time machine thing. You kind of forget who you are, where you are, what age you are. And then I was telling people I was 53, and then had to sit back and go, oh my God, I'm not. I'm only 51. Shit, I'm 52 next. I was 53. Like, you even get to a stage where I don't even know my age anymore. Worried about that stuff. And it's right. It has been nice. It was actually I when I looked back at the video, I did think, oh my God, man, that's really, you look old, dude. And then, but I thought the nicest thing about it was there was no difference in how I felt in that moment in the 90s when I was releasing good pop music and having an absolute blast making videos and doing photo shoots. And I was releasing a really great pop song, great summery vibe, and had so much fun doing the video and the photo shoot and stuff like that. There was no difference. It was just, I was a little bit, not prepared for how the camera caught me.
It took me. I mean, it took me probably longer than I just said. But once I got there, it's plus, as they say, another day on top of the earth.
Absolutely. And I think, oh my God, man, I would love to have, like, I don't know, an uncle, a brother, a friend, a dad. Obviously, I don't have any kids. I have too many animals. Like, oh my God, you're still rocking reggaeton, mate, in your 50s. That's really cool.
Look at the Rolling Stones. My God, they're making great music, and
that's the power of drugs and alcohol, man. That is some intense pickling. They are still doing their stuff. Absolutely. It was quite funny. There was this, I can't remember her name, but there was this English woman health guru. It was pretty cool, actually, but it was quite funny. Health guru, lifestyle coach thing. And there was a photo of her in her, I think, her 55th birthday. And there was this other woman who was just a cook. And all she did was smoke, drink red wine, and make chocolate cakes. She looked bloody amazing. The health fitness guru looked like she'd been hit by a birch twig and then thrown through the farm next to it. Was just like, oh, see, it pays to be unfit and unhealthy sometimes. They look great on it. I think it's all about health of the mind, right? More than
it is. I was reading, there's a Deepak Chopra book about aging, and he says, and I can't remember the exact time frame, but our all of the cells in our body are new. Yeah. And so if we put our mind and say, and say, I'm an old person, I've got, when people say, I'm having a senior moment, I've got this, or I've got this problem, I've got this problem. And I remind of that book that just says, it's really how we think. I mean, I'm going to look how I'm going to look, but I feel like I feel it. I feel lively. I feel like you were saying. I feel like I felt when I was 17, 18 years old. And
Yeah,
so
the thing is, rigor mortis kicks in overnight. It does take a while to straighten up in the morning sometimes. I've got to be honest.
I guess I think, yeah, I used to jump out of bed and I used to literally go right to the. I used to run every day, when I was younger.
Dance class.
And I'd go to dance class. I'd go, and so nowadays I do kind of take a little time, but I walk for exercise. I walk at least 3 miles a day, and it's quite a wonderful life that I've been blessed with.
Absolutely, yeah. It's all that there's a lot of people that would be very grateful to A, get to our age, and B, be doing the things that we're still doing. And I think sometimes, having that. I don't think it's childish, but having that magic of creation, I would say that childish kind of, like you can still have fun at Christmas, but I don't mean it in a childish, in an immature kind of way. I just mean that kind of the innocence that I think being creative, spiritual, and passionate about your art. I think sometimes I get very excited by a photo or a painting or a video or a sunset, and a lot of people don't have that anymore. They're just like, oh my god, how many likes have I got on TikTok? Have I met my monthly stats at work? They lose the magic and the childlike vision of life, I think, and that's when things really start to change.
To me, I still have this very active belief in possibility, and I don't mean possibility that I'm going to get a #1 record, or a possibility that I'm going to do this. Just a possibility that an idea, or that I'm going to sit down and work on a song, and that I'll tell a story that matters to me. And there's so many. Not so many, but there are people in my life that are around my age that they're all about probability. Well, that's not going to happen. Well, this isn't going to happen. Well, it hasn't happened yet. So it can be anything from meeting someone in your life that offers you romance, to meeting someone in your life who just offers a conversation like this conversation we're having today. This is. I don't remember when I think about how did I get your name? I don't know, but I saw it and I thought, and I heard about your show and I thought I'd like to participate in that. So I contacted you and you were like, great, let's do this. I loved it. It's and we have this conversation. It's just all about the present. So
I think it's about a lot of people have said to me, your show's too long, it's too boring. No one wants to watch someone talking for an hour and a half. I said, I don't care. I'm not doing it for anyone. I like meeting wonderfully interesting, passionate, creative, spiritual people and having a chat. I lived in the jungle in Mexico. I hardly heard English, let alone my Spanish is not great, to be fair. It's okay, but especially during COVID when I couldn't get out and chat to people, I thought I just really want to mingle with people. I mean, art and creativity and music are the things I'm passionate about, and I kind of want to see how it rolls for other people too. I'm just really interested in that. So I'm really happy that my shows are longer than 15 seconds, really, because it's about getting to know someone. You can't get the vibe of someone, and I've done a couple of shows, and I won't mention the shows, where after 15 minutes I was like, oh, because they would answer a quick. I said, so who are your influences? Tupac. Okay, so what did you do at school? I studied and joined band. Right, so I was just like, oh my goodness, like this is really not. But that's been 2 out of 160 shows. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
1 out of 160 shows. But yeah, normally it's just been really lovely. I like just being authentic. This is Jaden. I like to chat. I like to hear about other people's experiences. I don't have any active male role models in my life either. So sometimes it's really nice to how they've been doing the same kind of thing I've been doing, but for a lot longer. The things that fire them, the things that still bring them that passion for their art. Because as well that sometimes, being an artist is a very solitary experience at times when you're trying to find the next audition, or you're trying to get the next songwriter, or you're trying to do that. And, you go through the whole, am I too old for this now? This 18-year-old six packs doing this much better than I am. And, you go through this whole thing. And sometimes it's just nice to be around people that have also gone through their challenging times, but they're still passionate about their creativity. And I find that really inspiring as well.
And I think, to me, I think that those people, for me, generally are people who figure it out, or who believe that they're on the earth for a purpose, and that their passion is their purpose. I remember when I was younger, and I would think, my parents would say, no, it's not, no professionals performing. You're going to be a teacher, because that professional performing, that's your avocation, that's your avocation, that's your avocation. And then finally, someone said to me, your passion is your assignment. When you get that it's your assignment, then it's like, okay, I don't have to say, please make room for me. You just recognize that the fact that you exist, that there is room for you. You've been put here. And so say what you have to say, sing what you want to sing. And that'll, what's the film, Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it doesn't mean that I'm not someone who, so at least, I'm not someone who my name can be on the schedule of the thing and the room fills up. That doesn't necessarily happen. And so I just think who's here is who's meant to be here. This is the conversation we're meant to be having. And so those people, you hold on to your excitement and your passion, because I've let go of any. It's like my ambition and my belief in competition, my belief in that my ambitions got to get me somewhere other than where I am right in this particular moment. I let all those go. There's a movie called Baby Boom with Diane Keaton, and do you ever see that movie?
I have seen it, but not for a long time.
But there's a moment in it. Where, well, she's a lawyer. I think she's a lawyer she's with a law firm, and her partner, he's with a law firm, and they're both, and they're all about success and moving on. She wants to be a partner. He wants to be a partner. They want to be partners in their law firms, and she gets this message, this telegram that says that you have an inheritance that you can pick up at the airport. A great aunt died. You're the only person left. So there's an inheritance at the airport, and she's handed a baby. And she had just talked the night before with the guy that we are not going to be parents. We're going to be successful lawyers. She's handed a baby. She goes, I don't want it. It's yours. I don't want it. It's yours. Boop. Oh crap! I got a baby. So then she finally realizes that she has to take some time off work. And so she's put this baby in a stroller, and she's walking down Fifth Avenue with this baby in New York City, and she hears the click of high heels on the pavement. And we see those high heels with a briefcase, and they're moving faster, and she moves faster, and they're moving faster. She moves faster. She runs. Sprackly, she's running with this baby. Finally, she goes, and then we see those high heels and that briefcase continue walking. And she's present with this baby, and her entire life changes. And I feel like I've had that moment where, the baby is the music that I want to write, the songs I want to sing, the person I want to be, and I think that's the people that are there. I think that's why the passion can still be there, and the excitement can still be there, and the awareness of possibility can still be there, and the gratitude can be there. My mom was always saying, got to be humble, you got to be humble, you got to be humble. And Marianne Williamson said, humility is accepting the assignment. And I used to think humility was, oh, not me. I'm not. Who am I? I'm not. Because that's what's the culture of our family, So I thought, once you accept the assignment, and you realize also that I'm not better than anybody. I'm just one of them. I'm a part of everybody. Yeah. And so since I'm a part of it, then I got to step up with what I got. If there's a conversation in the room, I used to say, well, I could add this, I've got a joke, but I should. And now I realize if there's an impetus to add, but at the same time, be a listener. I'm a listener, but if there's impetus to add, that's the assignment. So once you get this assignment, it's ego goes away. The ego that says I have to be more important than somebody else.
I think it's just about being your authentic self, and like you said, accepting that there is a reason for you to be here. You might never sound like Beyonce or look like Brad Pitt, but no one will ever do Jaden Cornelious or D.C.Anderson like they will.
Right. And so that's who we are. And I have to say, I really appreciate this conversation. I appreciate meeting you. I appreciate you as an artist, you as someone who's interested in other people and I just wish you so much happiness where you are. And
I really
thank you. Thank you for this.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. It's the reason why I do it, just because I love celebrating creativity and success, whether it's mine or whether it's someone else's. I just think it's just nice to talk about. There's so much crap going on, and I just think sometimes it's just really refreshing when you meet passionate and creative people, because they get bogged down by it sometimes, they get affected by it sometimes, but there's always that spark, and that's the thing that drives me forward as well, is collecting sparks.
and understanding that this is our contribution too. Sometimes I say, "Oh my God, I didn't send enough money to this candidate, or can't be a political candidate, or I'm not on the phones. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this." I think our spark, and what comes of our spark, those are our contributions. What I can do right now, how many weeks away from November 5th. What I can do is just maintain my connection to love. I mean, in politics, sometimes, politicians don't talk about love much because it's turned into a joke. But I can just keep connected to the love of the people, my neighbors, my partner or husband, actually, my family.
And also, love is freeing where the fear is controlling, and that's the whole point of politics on some level anyway, isn't it, quite frankly?
Mm-hmm. So my agenda is corny as it sounds. The older I get, the cornier I get. My agenda is just love.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry I went all corny on you, but
no, corny's good, and it's not corny. It is about that. I've just taken out my my subscription of Gaia TV, because I watch so much shit that really is not edifying or helping me in my future. Because I go through my dark. My family are thousands of miles away. I very rarely get to see them. As I get older, other people get older, and when they get older, they die. So I'm going through a stage now where everyone else is bloody dying. It's crap, and that does affect you. I'm a very sensitive person as well. Maybe that's why I make an all right artist. But things like that transition of change, I find very difficult. And I'm very aware of the things that I put in my ears and in my eyes are really important. So I took my subscription for Gaia TV, which is, have you heard of Gaia TV?
No.
It's amazing. It's a whole TV network of hundreds and hundreds of documentaries, movies, discussions, all with like Marion, like Deepak Chopra, like everybody. It's just all about love, really, quite frankly. And
I've got to find this. I've got to get
TV. It's the best thing I've ever done. I'm also not a conspiracy theorist. I'm an alternative theorist. Sometimes I don't always believe what I'm being told. And I really do like my kind of alien and ET agenda and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff about that as well, And but there's loads of meditations, from meditations and recipes to, spiritual conferences, from Bashar to Deepak Chopra, from Miss Williamson to, I can't remember the guy that I watched yesterday, David Icke. There's just so much, and it's all about expanding the mind. I said I'm going to watch every single thing on that Gaia TV at some point. It might take me 15 years, but I'm going to watch everything, even if I don't agree with it or like it, but just to keep that mind, you know, as full of possibilities as possible. That's really cool. Anyway, it's not, but go and check it out because, you know, it's not about.
I will
It's
check
really
it out.
But also, for K Future, the last question: what does the future hold for D.C.Anderson?
Dinner.
Nice, nice.
Just that's I've got it. Yeah, just I'm starting work on another album. This one was just released October 4. It's called Believe, Breathe, and Sing. And we're start working on another one in February. So I'm excited about that. But in terms of just being present and holding on to I don't know, not holding on to anything actually. I'm just so dinner. I guess I'd say
Dinner is the immediate future, and just being present and authentic for every single period of time. Right, that's perfect. Just I want to know, out of curiosity, what's been the pinnacle apart from the Jaden show? What has been the pinnacle of your career so far? And that means like not just as a singer or an actor or like in everything that is D.C.Anderson. What has been the thing that you've thought, oh my goodness, this is what it's all about?
I just I've been involved with this. Matt Vincent and Maddie O'Brien wrote a musical called Anne of Green Gables, and it's from the book, the legendary book, and it's been in development for a while, and so I've been involved in basically two productions and then one month-long workshop. And there's a moment, I play Matthew Cuthbert, and there's a moment in which I look in that young girl's eyes and see how much we need one another. We don't admit it at the time. I think that I'm there to somehow get her to be able to try to stay with me and my sister Marilla. But I think that moment.
Absolutely amazing. People obviously adore you and need to find you on social media. Where are you?
I'm D.C.Anderson, singer-songwriter on Instagram and Facebook. D.C.Anderson, singer-songwriter, all one word. And then on X, I'm D.C.Anderson. And then I've got dcanderson.net is my internet, my website. And yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Thank you so much for being part of my show. Thank you for your time. Thank you for a phenomenal conversation. It's been really, really good. Maybe there'll be a Jaden D.C.Anderson collaboration in the future. Maybe that's in your future, young man.
I would like that. Thank you.
Because we got quite similar voices, so I think we could pull off something really quite special. I think
it'd be nice. I'd like that.
Thank you so much, people at home. You've met D.C.Anderson. Go and follow him on all of his social media. Go and show love. Go and show support. Go and say lovely things. Make sure you add him, follow him, subscribe to his YouTube. You'll see links on the bottom of this interview where you can find him, and also in the title page of the show as well. D.C.Anderson, thank you so much. We are in contact. We will definitely catch up again soon. And people at home, have a wonderful new week. We'll see you later.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, D.C.Anderson, for being part of my show and for being actually the first show, I believe, of 2025. That's pretty amazing. Thank you for you at home for starting your 2025 with me, Jaden Cornelius, my beautiful guests, and The Jaden Show. How amazing. Please make sure you have subscribed. Please make sure you hit the tinkly bell. Please comment. Please like. Please share with everybody. While you're still on your computer, go and make sure that you are following, subscribing, and supporting D.C.Anderson on all of his social media platforms as well. And don't forget to go and listen to him on his musical download and streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, etc., etc. I wish you untold blessings for this year. Already excited to be back with you next week with a wonderful special person. You take care. Have a lovely one. I'm going to leave you with another song, While There Is Still Time. That's the name of the song, by the way, not time in the show. But I'm going to leave you with D.C.Anderson, While There Is Still Time. And I'll see you next week on The Jaden Show. Take care. Bye-bye.
A poet of sorrow wrote 3 simple lines, a plea that tomorrow may come to weigh heavy on all of our minds. A poet is no one, as most poets find. A sister and brother take care with each other, for we should be kind while there is still time. There's rain and there's thunder before there is flood. The signs and the wonders that warn of the spilling of blood. And mountains will crumble to just rock and mud. Oh, sister and brother, take care with each other, for we should be kind while there is still time. They'll ask where you were, they'll ask what you knew. They'll ask what you did, so ask yourself, what can I do? You poets of sorrow, don't drown in your tears. The songs of tomorrow must rise from the ashes of fears. Will you stand and bear witness, reminding mankind